weapons on everything. Yeah, and that got split between videos, didn't it? Yep. Shields! Everything needs shields. Shields are good. Shields are healthy. And that was in the NR hull, so we shouldn't... Oh, I forgot to tell you about emissive armor. My bad. My bad. Emissive armor. Okay, every time it gets hit by damage, and this does not stack. If you have two emissive armors, they will not deflect double the amount of damage, but it can deflect some of the damage without getting damaged. So if you have fighters firing weapons that do 10 kilotons of damage, you have emissive armor that can absorb 12. That's it, your ship is invulnerable once they start hitting that armor. That's it. They're helpless against it. If they do 15 units of damage and you defend against 12, then it will do 3 units of damage to your armor. After that armor is gone, if there's no more, well, then you take full damage. So it might be useful in some situations. We probably will be using emissive armor in small doses once we switch to a more shield-based defense later in the game, which we will probably do at some point. Okay. And more yet. Yep, goodbye. Wait, yeah, I could upgrade my colony ships, but no. Not for this. Whoa, this hasn't been upgraded for a long time, huh? Okay. Head back here, get fixed. Those satellites ought to be able to handle... Whoa, and we have a small fleet here. Wunderbar. And that took a bit of resources, I think. But that's fine, we can work with that. Let's refit these as well while we're at it. Yeah, we're gonna leave that one there. Okay, are these at... yeah, these are at full health, so let's head over there and refit this one as well. And we've mostly modernized our... yeah, it looks like they're really damaged, but you have to remember that, well, they are somewhat damaged, and the weapons can take a big beating, so they give you quite a bit of hit points, but a huge part of that is armor, because it doesn't measure by how much of your space is damaged, but I mean, it doesn't measure one armor unit as 5 kilotons, it measures it based on how much of a beating it can take. It's not space, it's hit points. So, you know, it's based on how much hit points each component actually has. So, you know, they're not gonna be quite as hard to repair as they appear to be. No? And here we go, let's see how those satellites do on their own. Back off, you don't want to get slaughtered there. Yeah, they winged the shields, but that worked out fine. Snake people. I show mercy and this is what they give me. Oh, there's going to be some talking about that. 475 kilotons. A fully researched cruiser in comparison has 1,000. So you know, that ship would be a lot bigger. However, yeah, these need repair before we start plotting any action here. Much as I might like to, we can't. You, on the other hand, can do just fine. And we want this ship here to help with repairs, if possible, and we will eventually upgrade it so that it can do some really useful repairing instead of sucking as much as it does. Now 60 kilotons of ship tonnage, that is this gun plus 3 units of armor, or this gun combat sensors and 1 unit of armor, and that's it. It's not a lot, but it should help a little with the refitting and all. Now we would want 2 of these ships and a repair ship here. The rest we're gonna send up there. Oh, and incidentally we are gonna need another repair ship to go with our campaign force. And yeah, I think I'm gonna gear up for taking that next system. I think it's about time I did it. It's gonna take a while to research those upgraded ships, and yeah, let's swarm them. We have more than enough resources, and we should have technological superiority on top of that. Now the AI is researching at the same time, and they are building up. They can definitely build up enough to be dangerous in this patch of the game. It's just that at the moment I think we have the advantage over the snake people, and we should have enough military oomph to toss the other aliens out of that system as well. And you know, 3 systems, meh. 4, 5 if we can yoink this one as well. Now that is something else entirely. And we should build, let's say, another 10 of these. Could use the reinforcement on whichever warp on this swarm point later on. So we can start researching cruisers next turn. Now fully researched light cruisers will give you, I think, 750 kilotons, and destroyers are 575 when fully researched. Dreadnoughts give you like 1,800 battleships. I honestly don't know. I generally don't go for them. I mean, everything above cruiser starts getting more and more limits on how many engines it can go with, so you either need, a battleship is kind of a halfway thing. You end up with so too little speed to be really maneuverable, while at the same time you're not really powerful enough to be that good at tank either when compared to a dreadnought. If you want something big, it's, in my opinion, better to just go for the dreadnought and screw the battleship. Or actually no, there's battle cruisers and battleships, I think. Well, there were battle cruisers and battleships in the earlier Space Empire games, but I don't remember if it was set up like that in this one. Well, whatever, let's start researching that. News, what? Yeah, that's medium heavy hull construction. Yeah, no, I don't think we have battle cruisers in this one. Okay, we are starting to build some fleets. Excellent. And you are not repaired, but you can repair yourself in a couple of turns. And we need you there to help repair our satellites. They are starting to get pummeled, and we can't afford to have you hanging around there anymore. So have fun. How damaged are you? 57%. Ouch. Okay. And you're starting to get repaired. How are the others doing? The others are more or less done. So I can send some of these damaged ones. Oh. Okay, head over there and send the other one back later on. You can send a couple of these over to get repaired over here. In a couple of turns. See, this affects weapons, shields, but it doesn't touch the engines, so the ship can still move. Yeah, I really don't like the engine upgrades. I like to build up my ion engines to level 5 at first, at some point, so I have the supplies, and then later on I just research until I can get the best engines and I max those out and just go with those. Oh, and we've hit our target of 70,000 research points. Don't think we're gonna hit 80. Well, we might, but well, we will eventually once these planets build up a decent population, but that's gonna take a while. Oh yeah, I think we're gonna hit 80,000 just fine. So yeah, research-wise at least we're pretty competitive, I think, at this point. However, we can get overwhelmed with sheer numbers even if we do have a technological advantage, so we need to be careful. You are ice colonies, so yeah, I will colonize that planet once I go for that system. Although you are ice as well. Yeah, I think actually I'm gonna build my forward base here so I can more easily cover that war point, and then once I've cleaned the system out, chillax and colonize everything else. Yeah, I think 15 or 20 ants ought to overwhelm whatever is there. Now my first priority should be to take the war point. Yeah, I kind of have to. And shields got singed a bit, but that's fine. Okay. Now with missile ships. If you have one missile, it's gonna be pretty useless because anything that has 1 point defense cannon will be able to defend itself pretty effectively. With missiles, you either launch a swarm or you don't bother at all. With direct fire weapons, it doesn't matter how many you place, not really, unless the target has a great deal of shield generators. But it does matter with missile ships. Okay, and that is mostly repaired. Head over here, and it's gonna repair itself en route. But with missile ships, you have to assume that the enemy will have some point defense, because the AI usually puts them there, and a smart human player will put them there too. So you have to assume that that some of your missiles are gonna get shot down, and the rest have to be able to do some real damage. And the missiles missile damage doesn't scale that well at the really high tech level, so I don't really like them very much. But meh, can build some missile ships as a support role for our fleets, you know, so that they can hang back and sort of pummel the targets of their choice on the battlefield. Range kind of limits you, because if you want to hit a specific ship you have to fly close enough to it to hit it. With missile ships you have a longer reach. So yeah. And cruisers. Ooh, we did 2 tech levels there. Fine indeed, that's good. Here we have... Here we are still building. And that's fine too. Here we go. Travel, travel, travel. Go, 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 go. Yes! Okay. I already checked that. I keep checking tech level. Okay. This is our maintenance. And this is our trade. So yeah, we're using less than half of what we're making. Less than half of what we're making even on our own without trade. So we're gonna be fine. We can support all these small ships and the bigger ones. Now I do like the bigger ones both because they're more effective, more badass, and also they're easier to manage, which is not... damn it. Damn that research window. It's not a small consideration in a game that is pretty heavy on the micromanagement. Now we're not going to be researching dreadnoughts just yet, but we will take the cruisers. Medium heavy hull 4. We want it up to 10. Okay. Yeah, that's heavy hull. That's gonna open up next, and after that we're gonna get huge hulls, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Gonna leave that alone. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna be able to throw about 15 of these at them. Although we do want to keep a few more here. Although we can just leave a repair ship and one of these. Well, satellites, that is, I meant. Satellites. Leave a repair ship and these satellites, and it should hold things. Oh, and your armor is screwed as... Oh no, not completely. Okay, you're fine. So that's good. Okay, let's check these. Yeah, they have the shitty armor. Yeah, let's make a Barracuda 3 designed here. That's gonna be better. So yeah, let's say we can count on a even dozen of these ships to pummel the enemy. That should be just fine. And I'm adjusting my headset there. Okay, that's good. So we're plotting war. Gods, but they really screwed my early expansion plans. I had hoped to bite off a decent chunk of the galaxy, turtle up, develop some real technologies, try them out, and then start my expansion. I wasn't really planning on, you know, planning a war this early without properly developed technologies. But okay, if that's the way it went, that's the way it went. So what are you sending, snake people? And that was a missile, I think. It looked like missile was flying there. Yeah, this one got its armor almost completely stripped off. But that should repair just fine. And what are you planning? Just the one, huh? Okay, I'm cool with that. Now, the computer will kind of send ships one by one through these war points. And then suddenly, without warning, it will throw a real fleet through. I think these might be scouts to determine how well defended these places are, and then it builds up a real fleet and really throws it at you. Yeah, battleship. No battle cruisers there. Okay. Might make a battleship-sized missile ship at some point. Not just yet. Yeah, this is gonna be a frigate war. Okay. Anyway, yeah. You can just sit there calmly, maintaining your defenses, killing ships one by one easily, and then BAM! Stack of Doom comes through and rolls right over you. And boom. Just boom. Goodbye. No, goodbye. That's it. Yeah, I've checked it already. So, yeah, be careful. The AI can screw you just a bit. And since this is building faster, we can queue up a couple of more while this is still building its first set. Okay. Now that is starting to look like a fleet. At this point I can comfortably say that I have pretty good odds of quickly and easily taking that system, and I want it to be quick and easy. I don't want to piss off my ally too much, because then they might declare war on me and I'm gonna be dragged into another huge conflict. Well, not huge, but I want to avoid that. The whole idea is to kind of stabilize the situation here instead of leaving it in the same fracked up state. Okay. Level 6. Okay, that's fine, we can work with that, but not just yet. Yeah, I want to make sure. What have we got there? And still upgrading anyway, so you need to move over here. Load. These aren't done yet either. We're gonna need them. Okay. Or maybe we could make one cruiser, maybe. But nah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's a thought and research project. No. You. Load population. Sit here, wait with the civilians. So 14 combat ships plus the civilian plus one en route. We have our 15 ships. We're ready to rock and roll, I guess. Now once we get in there, we're gonna have to split our ships up some to cover several targets at once, I think. let's check what's on the other side. Yeah, the situation hasn't really changed there. Okay, now how do we want to do this? Actually, screw those. Oh yeah, there's actually only 13 ships there, but it doesn't matter because there's not that much opposition there. Yeah, let's go. And now there's a glitch where after this turn ends, if... Whoa, that's a lot. Where after this turn ends, the ships won't move as a single unit. They're gonna move one by one if you know they're continuing movement after the turn. So that would be a bad thing for us, because then if they happen to run into, say, an enemy, they were heading into a tile that was occupied by an enemy force, you get the idea. They would end up going in one by one and getting slaughtered, and there would be little enough that I could do to stop it, other than furiously pressing backspace to cancel orders. You know. Now we want to take this war point. Oh, and that's an organic destroyer. They have organic technology. Okay, and I think the Fong are supposed to eventually develop. Oh, and the Vukratal are angry anyway, so yeah. Oh, everyone's angry with me, it's great. Screw them. Who needs them anyway? I'll kill every last one of them. I'm not gonna send a colony ship just yet. Okay, now they do have an advantage in numbers. However, we have a technological advantage, so we should be fine. Yes, yes, claimed by your people, ancient homeland, yada yada blah blah. And they're getting slaughtered technologically. Oh, build some intelligence centers, you wuss. No, this one needs an escort. Yeah. Oh. 4 turns. Yeah. Success! Now this is gonna be a real space battle. There are the enemy, and there are our puny guys. There you are, you. Although you're not... Yeah, we can't afford to lose you. Stay here. Try not to get killed. Now, once they get close enough, that turned on the weapon range. View damage? Nope. Nope. Okay. Missiles. They are firing missiles, and since there are a lot of them, it's good thing we have those blasters set up, because, you know, especially if several ships end up firing on this same missile, then, you know. Whoa. See, now that is what a technological advantage can do for you, or for the enemy, for that matter, huh? Boom! Oh yeah! Suck it! Also, our ships are pretty well designed, since we anticipated and prepared everything accordingly. Now those point defense blasters really saved the day.